Earlier this year, I gave a talk with marriage advice for young men in which I advised them to not marry because women nowadays are so selfish that they will make your life hell. Later in that talk, I qualified that statement by saying that if you can find a girl who has a traditional approach to marriage, who wants to be a wife and not a competitor, then by all means, go ahead and marry. Of course, you yourself will have to be up to the mark. Now, just a few days ago, I received an email from a devotee in Bengaluru who is himself a very good devotee and middle-aged with a good, faithful devotee wife and 2 children, who is sometimes approached by young men who have become devotees in that very materialistic city of Bengaluru, young men who are not yet married, and as usual in India still, it's expected that young people will get married, and in India still the system is it's largely there that there are matrimonial alliances, there's arranged marriage. It's not the way it used to be that the parents would arrange it all. But the parents are still very much involved. And the problem that these young men have conveyed in trying to get married is that they're trying to marry with a devotee girl, but they find that the devotee girl's parents, in many cases, are very specifically looking for a way above the average income, or they're looking at boys with double degrees. These are devotees, supposed to be. And they go to the extent that they may even ask, show us the boy's payslip and his income tax returns, because they may not trust if you just say, I'm earning so much. And some girls' parents make a condition that the boy, after marriage, should not live with his parents, even if the boy's parents are devotees. They make that condition because traditionally in Indian families, the male child, the boy, when he gets married, then he supports his parents in old age and they live with him, and his wife is expected to serve and look after the parents of the boy. But some girls' parents are making a condition, no. I wonder what they're thinking, that they themselves will find this also, that they also will be left without anyone to look after them if they have such an attitude. Anyway, this devotee from Bengaluru who is conveying all this to me said that he asked some parents of girls who are giving their daughters high material education. He asked, well, why are you doing this? It might seem obvious that the girls should get high material education. It said that you can't get a girl married unless she has a high material education, because from the boys' side, they want the girl to have a high material education so that she can work and earn more money. It's all about money. And the girl's parents were saying that, well, it's parents, it's not us, but it's pressure from the grandparents and the in-laws, which may be. What if the husband divorces? What if the husband dies and the girl will need to have her own independent job and financial security? Practically, they're setting it up for divorce, even before they get married, and setting her up to have a completely independent attitude her own independent career, and then where's the family? It's supposed to be man and woman come together, and they don't just live together, but it's a whole bond for the sake of dharma, for having children, for raising the children. It's a team. It reminds me of the symptoms of Kali Yuga mentioned in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam. Some of them are mentioned there. Vitameva kalo nrinam janmachara gunodayaha. In Kali Yuga, this is the first in the list of symptoms of Kali Yuga given. In Kali Yuga, money only is considered to be the indicator of aristocracy, high birth, good behavior, good qualities. If you have money, everything's okay. It doesn't matter about your actual behavior or your character. If you have money, then that's okay. Then, anadyataiva sadhutve. A person will be considered wrong, bad, if he doesn't have money. Avritya nyaya daurbalyam. If someone doesn't have money, you can't get justice in the court. That's another whole issue. The whole justice system is, in India, as in many countries, is weighted against men. Anyway, that's a whole big topic, which I won't get into now, but just we're reminded of these predictions of the age of Kali, for the age of Kali. Then Daksham Kutumba Bharanam, someone who can actually maintain a family is regarded as a very expert person, very expert. Oh, he can look after a family, can maintain a family. He's married and he's managed to bring up a family and there's no divorce and his children. Oh, very amazing, wonderful. Then more in the Bhagavatam in this section. Dampatye bhiruchir hetur mayaiva vyaviharike stritve pungsve chahiratir. Men and women will live together just because they like each other. Superficial attraction. There's no dharmic commitment. That's not there. Just live together, live in, married, not married, what does it matter? And in general dealings, people will be deceitful to each other. There's so much cheating in marriage. Men and women are cheating on each other. In business, you have to do cheating. Stritve pungsve chahiratir. To be a good woman or a good man will be according to how much you are sexually attractive. Just see, this was predicted 5,000 years ago. And especially just in the last few decades, it's become so much apparent within India. So this devotee in Bengaluru, he was asking me, well, how do you advise such young men who are wanting to marry a devotee girl, but then the devotee girls are putting such conditions, or their parents are putting such conditions? So I replied that you should advise to absolutely not marry girls with such attitudes, or parents with such attitudes. If they're so nasty, so inhuman before marriage, what are they going to be like afterwards? You can't expect them to get any better. They're going to make life hell for you. The parents they're already harassing you even before you're even married. They're never going to stop harassing you. It's just like a business deal. The marriage, they're going into it as a business deal, only concerned with economic factors to see how much they can squeeze out of you. We don't hear that the parents are asking about the character of the boy or his commitment in devotional service. I suspect that this is all a result of the preaching that is widespread in ISKCON today among Indians, which is most of ISKCON today, that your career is your devotional service. And before that, your studies are your devotional service, which is, okay, can be possible if one's clear goal in life is to serve Krishna. But what is usually happening is that by telling people that your career is your devotional service, you're dovetailing people's material desires or encouraging their material ambitions and their material desires, their material motives, and presenting your career as your devotional service as if it's on the same level as fully surrendering to Krishna with no personal motive. That working in your career, it's your devotional service. So does that make it on the level of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam? Such an approach certainly doesn't encourage either vairagya or vidya, detachment from this world or knowledge of the real purpose of life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who you might have heard of, amid all your studies and your scrambling to get more and more money, his mission is defined as thus: Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartam Eka Purusha Puranaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripam Buddhe Yastamahang Prapadye. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya prays to take shelter of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach real knowledge, to teach devotional service, which is with real knowledge, with detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. This is why he should be understood as an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an ocean of transcendental mercy because he gives us bhakti yoga, enriched with vairagya, detachment from this world, not scrambling like ordinary materialists to get ahead, get more money, ambition, get a big job, show off how much money you have. It's antithetical to the devotional sentiment. If by your previous activities or by the desire of Krishna you get plenty of money or so much money, it may be, but that's not a sign of bhakti. Generally, people become more entangled and more materialistic by having more money. That should be understood. So being materialistic and nasty about it is just the opposite of being a humble, surrendered devotee of Krishna. So this whole thing, your career is your devotional service, the actual result of is that it encourages a materialistic approach to Krishna consciousness. Or it mixes up this insane materialism which dominates Indian middle class life with Krishna consciousness. So asking for high material achievements in arranging marriages, that's normal in the big cities, especially in India, not only among devotees, of course. It'll probably be normal everywhere soon, which is why I said, I gave that marriage advice, don't marry. That sounds crazy. Don't marry. Well, that doesn't mean just have a live-in relationship. Keep away from women who are going to make your life as almost like they're committed to make your life hell, why enter a cage with a tigress waiting to gobble you up? That's what it comes to. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada sometimes quoted Tulsidas, Din ka dakini, rat ka bhagini, palak palak, rahe chushe, dunya shab bhar hoye, ghar ghar bhagini pushe. During the daytime, this is from Srila Prabhupada, by the way. It's not me saying it, and he's quoting Tulsidas. People won't like it, but anyway, this is an analysis of the situation. And this was coming from a few hundred years ago, more traditional India, what to speak of how much the degradation of Kali Yuga has continued now. Anyway, Tulsidas says, during the daytime, the wife is like a witch, and at night, like a tigress. Her only business is sucking the blood of her husband both day and night. During the day, there are household expenditures, and the money earned by the husband at the cost of his blood is taken away. At night, due to sex pleasure, the husband discharges blood in the form of semen. In this way, he is bled by his wife both day and night, yet he is so crazy that he very carefully maintains her. And her only business is to suck blood. But people are so mad that everyone is keeping a tigress. In every home, there is a tigress like that. It would be hoped that devotees are experiencing bliss in Krishna consciousness, at least in a preliminary level, and have understood that the goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, which entails becoming free from all material desires, all material ambitions, and attachments, and they can see that this whole scrambling for money, prestige, that's nothing, that's meaningless. Our goal of life is Krishna, and even now we can enjoy the pleasure of kirtan, discussing about Krishna. So it should be hoped that devotees look for marriage partners who have a similar aim in life as theirs. Their aim in life is not to get lots and lots of money, but to live simply and peacefully in family life with Krishna very much in the center, not job and career very much in the center. Not that material achievements which require so much endeavor are our goal of life, but rather, as stated in the Bhagavatam, in Lord Kapila's instructions, Daivaladhena santosha. One should be content with what comes by fate, yarvat artha parigraha, being satisfied with as much as you need to carry on life, just for maintenance, that's all. Now, a young man should be able to honestly say that I am prepared to be a responsible and caring husband and father, and I expect my wife to reciprocate accordingly, in line with the traditional role of women in Hindu families, in Vedic culture, and as described in Srila Prabhupada's books. If you can honestly say that, and if you are prepared to stick with that, then why enter into a relationship, a commitment, if you know someone is out to exploit you and they measure your worth according to how much money you get? It's sheer foolishness to enter into such a relationship. Now, news from Bengaluru that some of the young men who are in that ISKCON youth group, they married non-devotee girls from their hometown, from smaller cities or villages, which their family arranged. The girls were not highly educated and easily took up to bhakti after marriage because they had the idea, the traditional idea, of following their husbands. It's not that easy to find such girls, maybe. But if you hold out and if you insist on that, then parents who are looking for a husband who is not grossly materialistic, who have trained their daughter to be what a wife should be like, they'll be happy to have an alliance with you. Overall, our ISKCON grihastas need to be trained. They're so much interested that their sons and their daughters get a spouse who will earn lots of money. But what's the use of earning lots of money if you're just completely miserable with each other? They're asking for double degrees. They're asking for high qualification. But all these degrees, so many jobs are going to be finished by artificial intelligence. And now, with President Trump's tightening up on visas for Indians, it'll affect Indians, especially qualified Indians, then we may find that many qualified Indians will come back, or those who are expected to go to America won't go. So it's going to get more and more tough. So then how will all your degrees and everything help you? There's so many young men with degrees, highly qualified. What are they doing? They are delivery boys for Zomato, for instance. What's the use of their degree? They'll spend their whole life paying off their education debt. They can hardly afford to live with an unskilled job. This is the situation. I suspect, and I hope, that the tide will turn, and that, seeing as the whole marriage institution in India, especially among this middle class, is just making a hellish life for both the boy and the girl, I suspect that it will soon happen, and the sooner the better, that girls who are trained in traditional housewife roles to be good wives, good mothers, good cooks, polite, not fighting with their husband, not demanding so many things, religious, such girls will be in demand. We can train, ISKCON grihastas should be trained to train your children that you're going to get married. The family values are more important than how much money you earn. Much more important. You're doing a great, great disservice to your children by training them in this nasty materialism. You may be chanting Hare Krishna, but you're acting against dharma, and you're just making a disaster for yourself also. You'll also never be happy with your son-in-law or daughter-in-law because you'll always be looking for faults. That's the way it's being trained. You'll only be happy if they bring in lots of money. But money doesn't give you happiness. Why don't you understand? Do you ever actually read Srila Prabhupada's books? Do you ever think that Bhagavad-gita might actually be true? Do the devotees who are supposed to be training you ever tell you these things or instill it in your mind? Krishna consciousness is not meant to be a process of becoming more materialistic than the materialists. It's meant for giving genuine spiritual culture. Hare Krishna.